In a small cafe thousands of miles from Gaza, we gathered, not just to share tea, but to share truth. A space created out of grief, love, and resistance. For 76 years, Palestine has lived under occupation, a land stripped, families exiled, homes turned to rubble. What began in 1948 with the Nakba, the catastrophe, has only deepened, decade after decade. But from the ashes, the people of Palestine never stopped speaking. They wrote, they sang, they stood. Today, Gaza is a graveyard for dreams. Cut off from the world, starved, bombed, displaced. And yet, Gaza still breathes. We gathered not in pity, but in solidarity. Not in guilt, but in commitment. To remember, to resist, to rebuild. On the other side of the ocean, in Port Louis, Mauritius, we gathered, locals and foreigners alike. Our small group, Never Again, Olive Resistance, brought together people from across the world now living on this island, united by a cause. We set up a marketplace where art met resistance, with Palestinian-made embroidery and crafts, and locally made crochet, stickers, bookmarks, plushies and zines, each item a thread in the larger tapestry of solidarity. In every purchase, there was purpose. In every stall, a story. Because even from afar, resistance is something you can hold in your hand. We also acknowledge the heavy contrast between sharing Palestinian food and the devastating famine sweeping through Gaza. This food was lovingly prepared by members of the Palestinian diaspora living in Mauritius, many of whom carried deep memories of a homeland in pain. Our intent was never to celebrate, but to honor, and to raise awareness through culture, through resistance, and through community. Even as we broke bread together, we carried Gaza in our hearts. Voices rose, from Bethlehem, from Ramallah, from Port Louis. Poetry echoed through the cafe like prayer. Stories travelled from Gaza to Mauritius, and no one left untouched. Priya Hine brought the power of Fadwa Tuan's Enough for Me, reminding us that beauty thrives even under occupation. Dini Lala gave voice to Rifat Alaria's final poem, If I Must Die, in both English and Creole, a farewell that refuses to fade. Yusuf Cadell carried the defiance of Salem Gibran in Creole and the urgency of Rafif Zayada in French, his voice cutting through with clarity. Jana Modini, through sound and stillness, performed Mosab Abu Toha's A Litany for One Land, letting the didgeridoo speak what words could not. Rajni Lala played piano in tandem with Lindsay Collins' haunting reading of Mahmoud Darwish's A State of Siege, a conversation across generations of resistance. Tanya Harberland, poet and core member of our group, read Not Just Passing by Hiba Abunada, whose voice from Gaza now lives through ours. She also recited a touching piece by Sarah Janabi, daughter of the cafe's Palestinian owner, bringing local connection to global resistance. The music video La Chasse à la Colongue was shared live by Ras Max, present with us in person, while Manar Rajeh, co-creator of the piece, was there in voice and spirit. Nida Yunus, a journalist and poet from Ramallah, offered her message of truth and strength from the West Bank, reminding us that journalism is resistance too. Each voice that rose in that room stitched another thread of connection between Mauritius and Palestine. Before the night ended, we paused. Each guest wrote a message for Palestine. Tiny notes, scribbled in quiet corners, became a collage of love, resistance, and remembrance. From strangers came a mosaic of solidarity, from Mauritius a wall of words Gaza could lean on. This event was also about giving. Every rupee collected was a promise made to those on the front lines of survival. Jawad Camp in Gaza stands as a safe haven for displaced children. Through education, food and care, it keeps their futures alive in a place where childhood is constantly under siege. At its heart is Hadil, a woman of remarkable courage. And just after our event, she brought new life into the world. Her son Faris, born in the heart of Gaza, reminds us that hope still dares to breathe beneath the rubble. Gaza Poets Society preserves the soul of a people through words. When silence is forced, they speak. When history is erased, they write. They publish zines, host readings, and amplify the voices of poets living under siege, voices that reached us here, across the ocean. Finally, we supported Besma Association, an organization based in Gaza, represented here in Mauritius by the compassionate Mrs. Fatima. Besma's mission is to serve the most vulnerable, Palestinian children orphaned or displaced by war. On a small island in the Indian Ocean, we stood with a land torn apart. From crochet and poetry to prayer and resistance, every moment, every word was an act of love. In the face of genocide, we chose community. In the silence of the world, we chose to speak. Thank you to everyone who showed up with your time, your voice, your heart. To the artists, the guests, the volunteers, and the staff at Leah Cafe. To our charities, Jawad Camp, Gaza Poets Society, and Besma Association, who remind us daily what resilience looks like. And most of all, to the people of Palestine. You are not alone. We see you. We honor you. We will never stop standing with you. Dear Gaza, we whispered your name across the sea. With every verse, we carried your sorrow. With every tear, we sowed resistance. May you know you are never alone. From Mauritius.